Before you put your money into another betting app that promises big wins every day, watch this video first, because within 6 days, we evaluated Football Shore Tips app and rated on 10. Welcome to BetProof. Here, we do not install betting prediction app until we test it. We test it first, we check the tips, we track the results, and most importantly, we follow the numbers. Our goal is simple. We want to find out what really happens when you follow the tips from these apps. Because anyone can show you a winning screenshot. Anyone can show you one big winning ticket, but that does not tell the whole story. What happens on the next day? What happens when the tips start losing? And what happens when we test the app again and again? That is what we want to find out here at BetProof. And before we start, if you want quick updates about betting apps analysis and free VIP predictions, you can join our Telegram channel. The link is in the description and in the pinned comment. Now, let's start the test. Open your Play Store and search for Football Shore Tips. There it is. The app has a 4.0 star rating. That is not a bad rating, but remember, a good rating does not automatically mean good betting results. So let's install the app and see what is actually inside. Now the app is open, and the first thing I notice is the design. It has a dark Galaxy-style interface. The design looks clean, and moving around the app is quite easy. At the top, we have the free tips. There are sections for daily 2+ odds, there are over and under tips, there are basketball tips, and there are tennis tips. So there is already quite a lot to look at. But when we scroll down, things become more interesting. Here, we find the VIP sections. Correct score, halftime and full time, and 10+ odds VIP. These are the sections that really caught our attention, because this is where the app is asking users to pay for extra predictions. And the VIP access costs $100 per month. So we have to ask a very simple question. Is the VIP service actually giving better results? Or are we simply paying for more predictions? We are going to let the numbers answer that question. Before we look at the results, let me explain exactly how we tested the app. We used 2 different betting methods. Imagine that we have 2 bettors. Both start with $100 for each section. The first bettor uses the accumulator method. They take the different predictions and put them together on one big betting slip. This can look very attractive. The odds can become much bigger, and if everything wins, the return can be very high. But there is a big problem. If just one prediction loses, the whole accumulator can lose. One bad prediction can destroy the entire bet. Now, let's look at the second bettor. This bettor uses single bets. Instead of putting everything into one slip, they divide the $100 between the different matches. This gives each prediction its own chance. If one prediction loses, the other winning bets can still help cover the loss. So now we have 2 completely different strategies. One is high risk. The other gives us more control over the money. We then calculate the final profit after removing the original $100. So when we say profit, we mean the actual result after the starting money has been taken into account. And this is very important. We did not test the app for 1 day and then make a big conclusion. We tested it across 6 different days. Because one good day tells us very little, and one bad day also tells us very little. We need more results. We need to see how the app performs when things are good and when things go wrong. Because here at BetProof, we follow a simple rule. Math doesn't rule, but marketers do. Let's start with day 1. And we tracked 12 matches across the VIP sections. And right away, we saw a big difference between the 2 methods. The accumulator method failed. The total loss was $300 across the tested sections. That is not a small loss. But now, let's look at the single bets. This was much better. After counting the wins and losses, the single bet method made $109.07 in profit. That is a very good start. But we cannot get excited too quickly. The accumulator method finished with a total net result of negative $110.75. So after all 6 days, the accumulator method was down money. Now, let's look at the single bets. The single bet method finished with a total net result of positive $682.45. That is a very big difference. But again, we need to be careful with this number. This was the result of our 6-day test. It is not a promise of future profit. It does not mean the app will make $682 every 6 days. And it definitely does not mean you cannot lose money. It simply tells us what happened during the period we tested. Now let's look at the different sections. The section that performed worst in our test was correct score. The results were not strong enough for us to trust this section. So if you were looking at this app, this is the section we would be most careful with. The 10 plus odds VIP section performed much better in our test. But there is an important detail. The better results came when the tips were used as separate bets, not as one huge accumulator. And this is one of the biggest lessons from our investigation. The same predictions can produce very different results depending on how you use them. A prediction can win, but if you combine too many predictions together, one losing match can destroy the whole slip. With single bets, the risk is spread across different matches. That does not remove the risk, but it gives you more control over the money. Now let's talk about the $100 monthly VIP price. Based only on our 6-day test, the numbers looked positive for the single bet method. But I would not tell you to spend $100 just because of these results. 6 days is not enough to prove long-term profit. If you are thinking about paying for any betting service, you should look at a much longer history. Look at the losing days, look at the winning days, and look at how consistent the results are. Do not look only at the biggest winning ticket. That can give you the wrong idea. So what can we honestly say about football short tips? Our test showed some promising results. The single bet method was clearly stronger in our 6-day test. But the app also had losing days, and the accumulator method finished negative overall. So we see some value here, but we also see risk. And that is exactly what a real review should show. Now it is time for something new. At BetProof, we are introducing our consistency score. We look at things like the results across several days, the losing days, and how well the strategy handles losses. And for football short tips, our score is 6.5 out of 10. That is a respectable score, but it is not a perfect score. Why? Because the app still had losing days, and the accumulator strategy finished in the red. The single bet method performed much better in our test, but even the single bets had a losing day. So we cannot call this a guaranteed winning system. There is no guaranteed betting system. That is something every bettor should remember. So now, here is our final verdict. Football short tips showed good results during our 6-day test. The single bet method was the strongest part of the investigation. The accumulator method was much more risky and finished negative overall. We also saw a losing day with the single bets, so nobody should look at these numbers and think that profit is guaranteed. Our job at BetProof is not to tell you what you want to hear. Our job is to show you what the numbers say. And the numbers say this. Football short tips showed promise, but it is not risk-free. Warning, there will always be risk when real money is involved. So do your own research, start carefully, and never bet money you cannot afford to lose. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever used football short tips? Did you use the accumulator tips, or did you use single bets? Tell us what happened in the comments. Your experience could help another viewer make a better decision. And if you want us to test another betting app, tell us the name in the comments. Subscribe to BetProof for more real betting app investigations. And remember, you can also join our free Telegram channel for updates and predictions. The link is in the description and the pinned comment. And remember our rule. Do not trust the promises. Trust the test. This is bet proof. We test it, we track it, and we expose the truth. I'll see you in the next investigation.